Tara here. Nice of you to join me and welcome to my channel. It's lovely to have you here with me today. I really hope you're having a good day wherever you are in the world. And we are now moving on to part 2 of our Isabella Bureau and Album tutorial, our series of videos that we're doing on how to make the bureau box that I've shared a walkthrough on. If you want to see that walkthrough, click on that link there and that will then take you to the walkthrough so you can see what I am going to be making. I've also got part 1 up, and that is how we made the bureau here. So it was the whole box, so it was the bureau and the drawer as well. So if you want to head on over there as well, I have got a playlist also on my channel. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel. It is always nice to have new subscribers, and I'll also put up a PDF cutting guide as well on how it's a cutting guide so that you can maybe cut your pieces ahead of time. So we are going to be making the album today. So this is the album that we're going to be making. It has got a plain front, this one, as this one is a gift. So I haven't actually added anything on the front as such yet. But we're going to be making up the album today and cutting out all our pages so that they're ready then to be able to put into our book. So, without further ado, let's get going. Okay, so the album covers are, so you'll need 2 of these, and I'm using 2mm grey board. I always use 2mm grey board in all my construction. My album covers are 9.5 by 7.5, so you'll need 2 of those, and don't worry about my little workings out on there, but your album spine needs to be 9.5 by 3.5. Okay, that's your album spine. Now, I always put my covers together with using the construction tape method. I have got a few tutorials on my channel where I use cardstock to put them together. If you would like to know that, or if you would like me to show you how to do that again, please leave me a comment in the description, in the comment section down below, and I'll get that tutorial up ASAP for you. So, putting together our albums with our construction tape, this is really so quick and easy. It's such a good way of constructing your albums. It's very strong as well, and you can do so much with it. If you are living in the UK, you can get your construction tape either from My Creative Spirit, or Cool Cats Crafts also do their own construction tape as well. But if you live in the US, you can get it. It's called picture framing tape. So just put that in your search bar, and something will come up that is very similar. But failing that, if this is your first time, you can use just masking tape as well. That does work as well. So, how I construct my albums, I always, because I craft standing up. So I take off, I unreel quite a long strip of my tape, leave it actually attached to the reel, but then I hang the reel off the side of my desk, and I just push it up like so with the reel still hanging off. Get one of my grey board pieces and just put it on half of the tape. Okay, push that down. Now I'm also using which I should have got them out earlier, but in true Tamara style, I always leave things to the last minute. I'm using these hinge spacers from Cool Cats. They are ingenious. They've got different widths that you can buy as well. These are a 1/4 inch, which is just perfect for what I want for this album. So how they work is you use the right angle, and then that goes onto the right angle where your grey board is. Just push it down, get the next one and put that on the bottom one. Push that up so that sits in there. Get your spine, and then that will just sit snugly in that gap, like so. Push it in tight, burnish that down. Now how I get them off, because it can be a little bit tricky, is I just move my project to the end of my desk and then let gravity take the tape off. It kind of takes it off of the acrylic. Just lift this one up and then just pull that one off like so. Then using a bit of pressure, you need to pull this quite taut over that join there. Okay, I'll push this up. I'm going to push that over and get some scissors. Oh, be careful it doesn't do that. Okay. And then again, just hold it quite taut so that you can then just run your fingers along and burnish that down. I've got probably a bit too much on there, so I'm just going to chop a bit off and then just burnish it down. If you've got a bone folder or a Teflon tool, just iron out any creases or bubbles that you may have in that construction tape. Be careful that your tool doesn't go down into that groove so that you end up splitting the tape, and you don't want to do that. So for the next one, we do exactly the same again, making sure that your tape hasn't ripped in half. There we go. I'll take that bit off. Okay. Again, just reel out a substantial amount, put it on your table, and then put the spine, because that's the one I've got, onto half of that tape. If you haven't got your spacers, you can use an offcut of grey board as your spacer. You may need, so you could use that. That would work just as well. Okay, if you haven't got the spacers, so it will just give you that that gap. So 1, 2. And then put your, that one, album cover on. Push it in so that it's quite tight against those sides. Pull it down. 1, 2. Pull your tape tight or taut, and then burnish that bit down. Get it from the bottom. Pull that taut again, and again I've cut a bit too much, so I've left a bit too much on there. Again, just burnish that down using your tool, just to make sure you've got nice flat tape. That's it. I've got something on there that I don't really want. It's a bit of fluff from the grey board. Must have been stuck on my mat. So I'm going to take that off and redo that. Okay, so I've got my album together. So that's what my album's going to look like. But now we need to edge our pieces. Now you can edge this before you join it together, or you can edge it after. I'm going to edge it after so that I've just got one continuous long piece. So I'm just going to cut that bit off. Okay, and then I'll start. So I'm going to start along the edge, like so. Then just run your fingers along the edge. Now you can do it. You can do it this way, or you can do it the next way that I'm going to show you in a moment. So it goes along there, like so. I'll get there in a minute. Like that. Let me just pull that up, and then just push it all the way down as it's in place. Okay, like that. And this side. There we are. I've got a bit of a bend in that. I'll sort that out in a second. And just pull that across. Now I've got a bit of crease in that. Now that's only due to it going down too quick. So I'm just going to pull that crease out with my Teflon tool. You can just iron it out. Go like so. Okay. There we go. Now this side is my better side, so I'm going to have this as my outside side. So let's just cut those excess pieces off. Okay. Okay. There we go. I'm just running my thumb down that groove there, down the groove, just so that we get it to stick. There we are. Right, you can do it this way, so you can do it where it's standing up, or you can do it when it's lying down, like so. I think this probably is the better way. You can do it like that. Okay. Cut that off. Turn it over. And then what we can do is just use your foam folder or Teflon tool to push it up like so, and then you can work it down. You can either work it down with your fingers, which would probably be easier, like so. There we go. Then we just cut those excess bits off because we don't need those. And then we've just got the sides to do then, the two short sides. I actually prefer doing it when it's lying down rather than standing up. I think it worked out better. So I might do that again. So I'm just hanging the rest of that off the side of my table. Okay, making sure I've got enough of this. So I'm actually going to stick it from the middle now, because what I want to do is to give the corners, or the edges there, a bit of a mitered corner. Okay, just makes it look a bit nicer, I think. Need to bring that out, and we can miter that corner, and then push that down like so, and just chop that end bit off. Chop that end bit off. Again, use your tool just to burnish those pieces down. Get rid of any little lumps and bumps you may have in your tape. Like so, so it's nice and flat. Last one. Again, just put it on so that it's half on to the board. cut that bit off. I'm going to chop that bit, so that gives me my one-sided mitre. That gives me my second. And then what I'll do is I will turn that up. Oh, that gives me another. Push that down. That one's already done. Like so. Now, I have got a tiny little bit of grey board that is showing. So what I need is my permanent marker. Now can you see just there, I've got a tiny bit of grey board showing. Right, to combat that you can just put a bit of permanent marker on, and then you can't see it at all. So that's just a quick fix. Right, so that is then our album literally constructed, ready to go into our box. But it's not finished because we can't just give it like that, can we? So let me get my measurements. Okay. So we're going to need now, you'll need your cardstock out, and you will need your trimmer. Okay, cardstock and trimmer at the ready. Now I'm going to be using my black cardstock today. At this stage you maybe need to think about what cardstock you're going to use. Now this cardstock here is a 220 GSM, so it's quite... It's one of those weights that it's thick but not too thick, and it's not too flimsy as well. Now the cardstock I use comes from a place called Limetree Crafts here in the UK. They do them in either packs of 10 or packs of 50. It's inexpensive. I bought, I think it was a pack of 50 for $4.99. That was the end of last year. So the end of 2021. I just love it. I love that cardstock. It's not a glossy cardstock, and it's not sort of that cardstock that you would think of as like blotting paper. It's not that sort of rough, it hasn't got a rough texture. It's quite a nice smooth texture to it, and I just love the black on it as well. It just has got that lovely, although it's shining a little bit on camera, it doesn't shine. It's not a glossy, but it just feels nice as well, and it scores nice and cuts is nice as well. So it's a really, really nice card. But I have got links in the description box down below if you'd like to have a try of their thing. I'm not sponsored by them, so don't think that I'm not getting paid for mentioning them or using their products. It's just products that I use every day that I like to use. So and people keep asking me, oh, what do you use? What do you use? So there you go. So with that, we'll need to cut a spine mount. Now the spine mount is going to be, you need to cut it at 6 inches by 9 1/4, and you'll need one of those. Okay, then you'll need to do some hinges, and you will need to cut these measurements. Okay, so you'll need to cut one at 5 1/2 by 9 1/4. Then you'll need to cut another at 4 by 9 1/4. Okay, once you've cut them out, what I did was my two hinges, I've actually wrote on them, so you can see just there I've wrote number 4 and 5 1/2, so that I know which ones I'm going to be using. So you could do that as well. So I'm going to bring you down because hopefully I'm sure you'll be able to see them, because it actually, when you score on black, you can actually see. So let me just give that a second to, there we go. Let me move my book out the way, push that up, there we go, then you can see. So for using your 5.5, so getting your 5.5 hinge, the one that you've cut, we need to put it so that the 5.5 mark or measurement is down the side of your trimmer here, and then the longest measurement is along the top of our trimmer where we're going to score. So you need to use these scores. So you need to score at a half. So I'm going to come down and score at a half. Okay, let's just get that in correct. So score that at a half. Okay, then another score at 1.5. Then at 2.25, 3.25, 4, 5, and then your last one, which will be the 5.5, which then leaves this half here. So you can see them score lines. It works brilliantly if you score on black card. It just seems to really make it stand out. So those score lines again, so you need your spine, sorry, your hinges, and you'll need your hinge one that measures 5.5 by 9.25. And these are the scores that you're going to need, which is a half, 1.5, 2.25, 3.25, 4, 5 inches, and then the last one, which you won't need to score, which will be the 5.5 there. Okay, so you'll have those along the side. So get your other hinge, which is your 4-inch one, and you'll need to score these score lines. So you'll need a half, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and then you should end up with a 1/2 inch on the end there as well. So just to go through those score lines again, you'll need a half, 1.5, 2.5, 3.5, and then your last one, which you won't need to score, is the 4. Okay, which then leaves that. So let's move this out the way and bring in our album. So with this, you'll need what we called our spine mount. Now that is going to go on our spine. If you can see, let me bring you up. I beg your pardon. So I'll bring you down. Let's bring you up. Come on, up, 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 up. There we go. There. So our spine mount is going to obviously go onto our spine. Now, having a spine mount, when you use this type of a hinge system, having the spine mount like this just really helps to strengthen the book and your spine, and it alleviates all the spine cracking that you may have. So it's just having this one piece of card in between works brilliantly. If you use the other system, I think it's like the concertina type hinge system, then you possibly wouldn't need this, because your hinges, you would have enough to go on this side and this side, and that would then alleviate you using this. So having our spine mount, you'll need to put some double-sided tape. So you'll need some quite strong tape. Again, I'm using this Score Pal tape, which works brilliantly, really does. But you can also use red liner tape, that works well, and glue. You can also use a combination of the tape and the glue, which also works really well. Now, I'm just looking, because I did have, it's disappeared, there we go. I've got a few different widths, so I've got half an inch width of score tape. It's not Score Pal, it's score tape. I've got the 3/8 score tape as well, and then a 1/4 inch score tape. I tend to use the 1/4 inch mostly, but for putting my spine mount on, I'm going to use the 3/8 score tape. You can use the a 1/4 one, but because I had this one to hand, I thought I might use this one as well. And because this is a bigger book, and it's got to hold a lot more pages, I thought I'd use the thicker one. So we just go around the edge of our spine mount like so, and then I'm going to switch to the 1/4 inch, and we're going to put our tape either side of the joins between our covers and the spine, the grey board spine, like so. Now this tip came from a lady called Claire Charville. It's the first place I saw her using this type of technique. So thanks, Claire. It's made my album making so much better. It really has. So I'm just burnishing them down just to help, just to warm up the double-sided tape, and also get rid of any air bubbles that may be in the tape as well. So, and using these Teflon tools on black card, you don't get any shining. The best way I can describe it is if you iron a pair of black trousers on a crease and don't put anything in between your trousers and the iron, you can get your material will start to have a shine on it, and it looks awful. It does. So you have to then put something in between your iron and your trousers then to alleviate that shine. Well, it's the same thing if you use like a normal bone folder on black card. You end up with a shine. So if I show you here, I'm just going to fold that over, okay, like so, and use my bone folder to fold it down. Now, can you see I've got a shine where that bone folder folded that line? So if I use then my Teflon tool, you'll see the difference. There's no shine at all. Can you see? It just really does alleviate that shine. It's amazing, really. Really amazing. So that was just a little side tutorial for you there. So, taking off the strips of your double-sided tape, I have to use a pokey tool to take off the backing, and I'm holding it in my hand because what normally happens is I'll put it to the side of me, and then by the end of the video I'll have a mountain of double-sided backing. Now, if anybody has got any ideas of what we can do with all our backing tape, please leave me a comment in the comment box down below as well, because I'd love to know what we can use it for. Because as crafters, we don't like to throw anything away, do we? We have to have, we like to try and utilise everything. Now, as you can see, I've made some like little holes or handholds of our tape. So I haven't taken it off fully. I've only taken it off a little bit. Now that's going to help me make sure I've got it in the right place, because it's crucial that you get this level at the top and at the bottom. Don't worry too much about the sides, it just needs to be level at the top and the bottom. Now I'm just going to bring this down, and I'll take that one off there, and just make sure. Now what I didn't tell you is that the tape, try not to go too near the top like what I have, because it'll end up showing. So I'm just going to cut that little bit off. There we are. Like so. There we are. I just didn't want that bit showing. There we are. Okay, good. Okay, so level it at the top and level it at the bottom. Like so, like so. I think that's about right. There we go. Once you're happy, just very gently burnish it down, and then pull out these little rabbit ears, I think they're called, and that one. Burnish them down. I'm going to use this tool. Now I think I may have got it slightly bigger at the top than at the bottom, but it's not too bad. So now you need to find your ruler, and we're going to just bring up the album very gently so that the cardstock of the spine mount creases. But because we've got that ruler there, that's just going to push against that ruler and help that to crease on that side. Okay, you see that? So we're going to do the same with this side. Again, very gently just ease that up. Push it up like so. When you're happy, just give a jig. You have to make a little jig like so, and then that's going to help that. That's now creased that down. Okay. So, and then as you can see, your book now is starting to become a bit more stable than what it was about 5 minutes ago. So that's fantastic, we've done that. So let's put that to the side, because now we need to bring in our hinges, and we need now to score them. So the top part here, so let's work on this side. So we work on this side. Now I'm going to use my ruler as a guide to help me fold up and score them lines, so I get kind of like I don't end up with like a wonky score line. So just accentuate that line. Okay, so I'm going to do the next one. So using your ruler again as a bit of a resist, pull it over, push it down, and then burnish that so you've got nice crisp score lines. Then do the same with this side. I've already done that one, so that one's okay. So bring this one up like so. So we're only doing the first two. Okay, you're only scoring the first two score lines on opposite sides. Okay, I'm just going to bend that one over, bend that one over. Okay, bringing in your next one, so the 4-inch one, again do the same thing. Bring that up and over like so. Scroll that down, and then do the same with this side. So. And then you'll need obviously these next two as well. So it's exactly the same. You're folding the two lines. I'm just going to make that a bit quicker. There we go. Fold them down. Okay, so you've got then your two hinges that we need for our album. So on the back of the 4-inch one, we're going to put a line of double-sided tape. So I'm just going to use this 1/2 inch just to put that on there like so. Break it off. And I'm also going to use a bit of glue because I want a bit of wriggle time with this. I don't want it to stick straight away, but I do want it to stick eventually. So that's why I'm just putting a bit of tape on first and then my glue. Now I thought I was going to be very clever, and I put a little pin in my glue before I started to record, thinking, this is going to be I'll be able to use my glue straight away. The glue had other ideas. So let's just give that a dot. This is going to give me a little bit of wiggle room. Not much, but a little. But what we've done on our 5.5 one is we've actually, where we scored these extra 2 score lines here, we've given ourselves a guide of where we need to place our 4-inch hinges. And so if you just put them in between that, and that's it, bring them over like so. There we are. You've actually then got your you've got the guide then of where this one goes. So you might just need a glue rubber just to rub off any excess glue. Please ignore mine. Mine is so filthy, as you can see, but it's fantastic. I wouldn't be without this glue rubber. I've had this for years. Okay, so that just takes off that excess glue. So that then is our spines, sorry, not our spines, our hinges, literally done, ready then for our pages to go on. So, putting them into our book. Now, we want at least, I'm just going to have a look here. I think it's a 1/2 inch either side. Yeah, we want 1/2 inch either side. So, I don't know what's happened to all my pencils. They've just up and vamooshed. Okay, I've just bought myself some new pencils. So, in the meantime, let's just use our pen. So, I need to have a 1/2 inch gap in between the join of the 2 books and then obviously the hinge. So, I'm just going to just very lightly draw a line down. Okay, very lightly, because I can't take this away. So I'm just going to see if that is about right. Yes, so that's what you'll need to do, is draw yourself a 1/2 inch line all the on both, or even just on one side, and then just butt up to it, and then you know that that then is going to give you the equal distance either side of that, the two covers. So again, I'm going to add a strip of double-sided like so. And also my glue for my wiggle time, and all of it is going to be glued, so all of that is going to be glued down. So plenty of glue, because this needs to really withstand a lot of turning and a lot of weight as well. So I'm just going to line that up with that. Hopefully I've got it in the right place. Over a bit. Bring it up and over. Okay. Okay, and then burnish that down really well. Really get that down. I just need to bring that down a bit. There we are. Okay. Okay, that's excellent. So that then is our book. Well, not finished, but the sort of the bones of our book sort of finished. So if we bring in our bureau, we can see that it fits just nicely into our box. We've got quite a nice gap, so that you can again expand, so your book has room to expand in that little hole. Again, if you wanted to make this bit bigger, you could do. There's nothing saying that you couldn't make this bigger and this bit here smaller. So again, it's up to you how you do that. But then that just fits nicely in there. Okay, next we'll go on to making and cutting up our pages. So the measurements, so you will need your your cardstock again. And for this one, you also need your trimmer as well. So you'll need to take these measurements down. So get yourself a pen and paper, or if you have gone onto the description box on my channel underneath this video, there's a PDF guide, so you could use that as well. But these measurements are 9 1/4 by 5 7/8. You'll need to cut 4 of those, and you'll also need to cut out 10 1/4 by 5 7/8, and you'll also need 4 of those as well. Okay, I've cut mine out. So I've got my 10 1/4 by 5 7/8 and my 9 1/4 by 5 7/8. So what we need to do is the 10 1/4 side needs to be, we need to give it on the short sides, we need to score at 1/2 inch. So with the long measurement down the side of our trimmer, we're going to score along the short edge at 1/2 inch on both of those short sides. Okay, once you've done that, and put your trim away for just a moment, again, you need to just score these lines over, or just crease them over. So I think it is. Yeah. Okay, so just crease those folds over. Like so. And last one. Excellent. So bringing in your 9 1/4 piece of cardstock that you cut, and it's going to fit in between. Now, it could mean that it is just that slightly bit bigger. So what you'll need to do is just trim off 1/8 of an inch off that 9 1/4 side. So it's just literally a cat's whisker, like that. Just trim that bit off. Like so. Because this is not going to be seen, so last one. There we go. Okay, so you can marry them up now. So one of the ones that have got the score lines on, and one of the ones that haven't got any score lines on. Marry them up together like so. So what's going to happen is you can either do it one or two. So we're going to put our tape on the valley side fold of our pages, because this is going to make up our pages. So you will need your 1/4 inch score tape for this. If you're using glue, you will probably need to maybe get some paper clips to hold them together. So I'm just going to do all of my glue tabs first. Okay, so give them a burnish. I'm going to burnish them as I use them. So get that glue nice and warm. So taking off one side, get your sheet of paint cardstock that hasn't got any of the glue tabs on, and just line it up with the bottom. So I'm going to stand mine up and push it across. So maybe I'll do it this way. Let's have a look, see if this works. So put it in. So that seems to be in nice and flat. I want it so that the top is level. Okay, so pushing that side over that's got the glue, the double-sided tape, we're going to take off the other side. Now I want you to push from the side that you've just stuck down. It needs to be pushed all the way up so that you've got no air bubbles in this side, in this paper at all, because we want this to lie as flat can be. Okay, you will get a bit of a bow, but it won't be as much. Okay, you're not going to odds that little bit of a bow, but once it's stuck onto your hinge, you're not going to see it. It will lie flat. Okay, so I want you to do that with all the remaining 3. Okay, then our pages done. So we've done our pages and we've done our album. So on that note, I'm actually going to leave it here. I'm not going to go ahead and stick my pages on yet. I always do that as I use them. That way I know that if I need to add some extra bits and bobs, I can do that without them being actually stuck in. So that's what I tend to do afterwards. So thank you ever so much for sticking with me and supporting me and watching my tutorials. It really, really is appreciated, and I thank you from the bottom of my heart. I really, really do. Please subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Don't forget, in the corner down here is my logo. If you click or move your mouse or click on that logo, a little subscribe button will come up. Just click that subscribe button and you're subscribed. It's as easy as that. But once you're subscribed, don't forget to hit that notification bell. That way you will be notified every time I upload new content to my channel. That way you won't miss a thing. Come and follow me on social medias. I'm on all of those. Links, as always, will be in the description box down below. So please check them out, as well as some links to the products that I've used. These aren't affiliated links, so they're just places where I shop. So again, thank you ever so much for watching, and whatever you plan to do today, please have a brilliant day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye!